Program paid for by Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning. It's Andy Brownell, News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. Good morning, Robin, on this hot weekend.
And good morning, Andy. How are you?
I'm hot. No, I'm good.
You're hot. Okay.
I'm with you. I refuse to complain, even when it's sticky like this, because to me, this is way better than the cold stuff. But I've talked to plenty of people who prefer the cold stuff, supposedly. So who knows?
Yeah, not me. I'll take the warm. Give me the warm. Bring it on. I love summer. It's all good.
Yes, I am a great enjoyer of summer. Oh, okay. Speaking of hot, did I correctly see something about record low interest rates again this week?
Absolutely. I specifically read an article about the 15-year mortgage hitting a new all-time low, okay? And literally, I think, let me see if I can find it here. I'm sure I can.
Goodness gracious. I would have thought with all the things happening in the news that we were going to hear
So this is from Inman.
Opposite.
This is from Inman. You hear me talk about Inman a lot. It's kind of like the holy grail of real estate. Well, the author of this article is Daniel Houston, and it was written on July 22nd. And the title actually says, Mortgage Rates Hit New All-Time Low for 15-Year Loans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So interest rates for a 15-year mortgage hit new all-time lows amid high sales price and low inventory. Rates for 30-year loans dipped as well. They just didn't hit all-time lows, okay? So the mortgage rate for a fixed 15-year loan hit an all-time low this week, and that rate was just over 2%. So,
are you kidding me?
Nope.
2%?
Yeah, rates on a 15-year mortgage averaged 2.12% with an average 0.7 of a point, so 0.7 of a point lower than 2.22% last week and down from 2.54 a year ago.
It all sounds impossible to me when you...
It sounds impossible. It says this mark was a new all-time low for a 15-year fixed-rate mortgages in records dating to 1981 and replacing the previous low set on January 7th of 2021 when rates averaged at 2.16. So it dropped from 2.16, which was our all-time low, to 2.12. So we keep saying there's no way these rates can get any better. They just can't. It just can't happen. And here we go.
Proved us wrong again.
Proved us wrong. It does say here that for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, the rates averaged 2.78%, which was also 0.7 of a point down from 2.88% last week, and 3.01, which it was a year ago. So rates for a 30-year loan had hit an all-time low of 2.65%, dating back to 1971, and this happened actually during the week ending in January 7th of 2021. So they were down as low as 2.65. They were coming back up a little bit. Oh my gosh, all the way up to an average of 2.88. But now it's back down to 2.78. So if you're listening and you're wondering if the interest rates are still good, the interest rates are still phenomenal.
Okay, I got to ask you, are people actually getting these interest rates?
Well, I mean, I can tell you that I refinanced not too terribly long ago. I already had a 15-year mortgage, but I refinanced again with a 15-year mortgage. But just by changing my rate, which I already thought was great, and I dropped mine down to probably right about what this is, like just a shred over 2, and it took 3 years and 3 months, off my loan payments. Okay, so I had owed like 9 years and 6 months, and now I owe 6 years and 3 months, and because that was 3 months ago, I now owe 6 years. But I mean, I did not change the payment, but yes, right. They're out there. They are out there. Take advantage of them. I sit at closing tables and I look at people's rates on their loans, and I'm like, this is so crazy. It is so crazy.
And it runs counter to what you're hearing in the news. I mean, not about the interest rates, because I had not heard about that until now, but when I hear the talking heads and all the predictors of things to come, talking about inflation and this and that, I would have thought that was showing up, but it's not yet. Obviously.
Not yet, no. And according to this author of this article, he's getting his information from the July 22nd Freddie Mac weekly primary mortgage market survey. So I think Thursday. It's, so I think it's pretty accurate. There was one more bullet point. It says for a 5-year Treasury indexed hybrid adjustable rate mortgage, so the ARM rates that, we used to look at and go, you don't want to do that. The rates average 2.49%, with an average 0.4, or like almost a half a point, slightly higher from 2.47% last week. But it was 3.09 a year ago. So no matter what kind of loan you're getting, I'm just telling you, these rates are head-turning, crazy, great rates.
So is it keeping you as busy as I suspect it is?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. We are so busy, and I have to tell you, I did attend a talk in the Twin Cities in Edina at the Westin on Thursday of this week, and the president of the RE/MAX National was there speaking and talking about, like what they're forecasting. And I loved it, because one of the statistics that he said was that on a national basis, there are approximately 2.5 months worth of inventory. And I'm pretty sure I said that exact same thing last week. And he said that the forecasters and economists are predicting that interest rates will get up to like 3.7 by the end of 2022. And I think I had just quoted 4.2 by the end of 2022. So, I mean, just, half a point difference. And maybe with what happened this week, that his number's more accurate. Either way, it's great, right? And he talked about how we are absolutely not in a real estate bubble. And that's because 77% of homeowners have, very substantial equity in their homes based on how quickly prices have gone up.
Right.
So not necessarily because they've owned their homes a long time, but just because, those prices just keep going up, which they continue to see. So he basically reiterated everything that I'm thinking and telling my clients and sharing with our listeners, that, for the next 48 months for sure, we're going to be having the same sort of a real estate market as we're having. Now, granted, we are seeing, I'm not going to say fewer bidding wars, but fewer offers, so 2 or 3 versus 15 or 16, so it's easier to win. And yes, indeed, some of the downside that he spoke about is we are seeing tired out buyers. But I think I was one of the few people in the room when he said, which market do you find harder? The one that we lived through 2008, 9, and 10, when everything was horrible.
Yes.
Or this one. And everybody's like, oh, this one. And I'm like, okay, either you people really didn't live through that one. And I think what it is we're so blessed to have so much inventory that we're continuing to make so many sales that we have had. Last year during COVID was our best year ever in the 22 years that Scott and I have been in real estate. And this year we've already surpassed what we did last year. And our team is just on fire, and we've sold so many houses. So I'm like, this is not hard. Yes, it's a lot of work. And granted, I'm not as young as I was when I started in this business, so I'm tired when I get home, but I am loving every minute of it.
And you've mentioned to me, isn't that RE/MAX brand is helping with that inventory part of it?
Oh my gosh. It never ever has it been so important. And that's what he was talking about yesterday, was the value that the brand brings and how, fortunate we are. And I mean, clearly he's the president of RE/MAX, but he understands. He's also was a realtor for 25 years and not always for RE/MAX. So he understands what we have, what they do for us as agents, which we then get to pass on to what we can do for our buyers and our sellers. So, yeah, it was actually really awesome. I really got a lot out of it, and I believe in it 100%.
All right, we're talking with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results, and we have to take a really quick break. Back in just a moment on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Now at Menards, save big money in your...
To Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back and good morning. Say, Robin, what we were just chatting about before the break, the low interest rates, the rising prices translates into what you said, higher equity for most folks who have been in their homes. Are we seeing more and more people take that equity and using it now to get back into and maybe purchase an upgrade in the house?
That actually brings me to something. That whole cash out refinance. Like people used to refinance not to cut down the length of the years on their loan, like I just talked about. They used to refinance to take the cash to spend it on other things. I think that's a product that's probably a lot less on the horizon. I think people are instead taking the equity from their home and using that to leverage. So let's talk about these multiple offers and, what can you do to win in the multiple offers? We've talked about that and talked about that. Well, I actually came across an article that it actually surprised me a little bit, to tell you the truth. And it was from Realtor Magazine, and it was this past week. It was July 21st. The title of the article is Cash Buyers Scoop Up a Third of Homes. 1/3.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. And so when I say that, people are like, who has all this money?
Right,
well, it's not like they have safes with stacks of money in them. I mean, some of them might, I don't know. But what it typically is that they've got a lot of equity in their home. Okay, so now let's just say they're living in the home that they raised their family in. They've been there for 35 years. It's paid for. So whatever it's worth is equity, right? And they may have paid 35 years ago. They may have paid $280,000 for that house. That might be worth $950 now, maybe $1 million. So that's a whole lot of equity, right? It is. So now they want to move to a townhome. And they say, well, we don't want to have this house and that house. Not because they're paying double mortgages, but because they don't want to be worried about taxes and insurance and maintaining it, maintenance, upkeep. Right. So what they would like to do is go buy the new town, and they don't know how much of their stuff is going to fit in the new place. They don't know, what they're keeping, what they're getting rid of. So I have this a lot where those people that are downsizing will say, okay, we know we want to buy a townhome. We're ready for that. We're ready to have somebody else shovel and mow, and we're ready for no basement. We're just ready for one level. They know what they want, but we have to find it. Well, then when we find it, they want it, and so does everybody else. But because of the equity in their home, they can go to the bank and get an equity loan or a bridge loan and take that cash. And then I, as their agent, I don't say mortgage anymore. I don't say home equity loan. I don't say bridge loan. I say they are a cash buyer.
So in essence, they pull the money out of that loan into their account and have it ready to go.
Exactly.
Even so the loan is covered by the equity.
Right. So when we're talking about a third of these homes being scooped up by cash buyers, some of those cash buyers are you people listening, and you don't even realize that you have the possibility to do that. Make sense?
Yeah, no, and it's a great place to be in, too.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, let's face it. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Our home is our biggest asset. I mean, It's everybody's biggest asset. When it comes time to retire, it's like, where does that money come from to live on? It's from that wealth and equity we've built in that home. It's our bank account that we live in, right?
You've got me sold on that. It doesn't take too much math to figure it out either. It's right there, especially if you get these interest rates that you're talking about today. Oh, my goodness.
And let's not forget that last year until this year, houses on average increased by 15.22%.
While you were living in it.
While you were living in it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we've mentioned this before. I've had this actual, I wouldn't call it an argument, but a discussion with folks who try to sell the other side of it. Oh, no, you put the money into this account and you rent your place because then your money's working for you. And I go, yeah, but I'm renting the place. I'm paying every month to live there. This way I'm paying every month to live there, and it's good.
And you're building equity. And speaking of that, here's another article that came out of the National Association of Realtors magazine. And this one is pretty disheartening. This is a little bit older, not old by any means. It was July 15th of 2021.
Okay.
Rental prices broke records in 44 cities last month. And unlike the interest rates, I am not talking about all-time lows, okay? All-time high rate for rent in 44 cities across the United States.
I'd be afraid to ask what some of these rents are.
Okay, let's read.
Okay.
I haven't really memorized these, so I'm going to have to kind of look back in the article. A shortage of homes for sale has forced more prospective buyers to rent. That is driving up prices in the rental market. The U.S. median rental price in June alone jumped 8.1% compared to a year ago, reaching an average of $1,575 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit.
Wow.
Yep.
I wonder if I could do the math. If you had $1,500 at 2 or even 2.5% interest.
You got a nice house.
It's a lot more than 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So it says rental prices in 44 of the largest 55 metros broke records last month. So 44 out of 55 cities, they broke records in highest rent ever. The largest gains were recorded in Riverside, California, Tampa, and Phoenix, which all posted increases above 20% year over year.
The Sun Belt is getting expensive for renters.
Yep. And almost impossible to buy. You know, I mean, I know a lot of people who are looking for a second home in Florida in I don't know about California, but Florida and Phoenix per se. And I'm hearing from the agents that work there, it's impossible, and the prices have gone up so much, and there's so low inventory, and, you know, they have the same thing only on steroids.
And we get overlooked. I mean, not overlooked, obviously, because you're seeing the same thing here. You're just not seeing it to that degree. Right.
Thankfully. And our rent in Rochester, I've said this before too. Our rent in Rochester has always been high. I mean, so we're very comparable to the Twin Cities, which, you know, seems crazy because there's such a bigger job market there, but I guess we just have some good high paying jobs here.
Well, I always see it as that you have so many people coming into the community every year. You have that churn. And they're here for 3, 4, or 5 years, and then the new batch comes, and most of them leave. And when they first get here, there's going to be that demand to rent because they're not necessarily in the buying mood initially.
Well, or they're not even in a position because, you know, they're just out of medical school. Now, at least here they can get the 0 down conventional loan, which is really nice. I mean, that's a great thing. But yeah, it is a crazy market. But you know what? We haven't, even though we've been working harder, we haven't been less productive, we've been more productive. So we've been getting more buyers in houses, and we've getting more homes sold for sellers and getting more money for those homes. So everything has been better for us. So clearly, I'll take this market over that last disastrous market any day.
All right. We have to take another break already. We'll be back with more with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results in a moment on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
He will.
Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. And I know you have some listings you want to talk about.
I do.
New listings.
I'm excited.
Which is always fun. Yeah, it's always fun to cover those. But I did want to mention to you that you brought up this home last week when we chatted. I don't know if I'd call it a dream home, but to me it would be, I guess.
Oh, my gosh. And the one on Miller Place?
Yeah, so I went and I checked out your website, and holy smokes.
Unreal.
It's gorgeous.
Unreal. So we had, I believe, 5 showings as soon as it hit the market, and we literally sold that thing within 48 hours of putting it live.
Okay, now that is for the price.
At $1.4 million, okay?
It's quite a house. My goodness, it's size-wise alone, it's amazing.
And we got into multiple offers, Andy, at $1.4 million. But every single agent that showed it made it a point to say to me, wow, that house was amazing. I'm like, exactly. I want more of those. So if you're sitting out there on one of those gems, call me because I want to sell it for you. That was so much fun.
I bet.
But yeah, that one's gone. And I think the other ones that were new, the one on Cambridge is gone. And as a matter of fact, I think every one that I talked about last week is gone. But I've got some more this week.
Okay.
So it's all good. All right. So there is one sits at number 6, 19th Avenue Southwest. And it is a 2-bed, 1-bath with a 2-car garage. It was built in 1955. It's just a little 1-story ranch style for $217,000. Okay.
I think I know exactly which house you're talking about.
Okay. I have a really nice townhome in Wabasha, and it is 2 beds, 2 baths, and it's surrounded by cornfields. So, like for those farmers that are ready to move off the farm and into town, it'd be ideal. 1-level living, 0 entry. It's got just about 1,200 square feet. It's got a nice sunroom, attached 2-car garage, and that one is $219,900.
Fantastic.
Okay? Back to Rochester, I've got one at 516 4th Avenue Northwest. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath with a 2-car garage. It's an old house, so it's got a lot of character. Built in 1927, and that one is $269,900. I've got one on Limerick Lane. Oh, this is a really nice house. 3430 Limerick Lane. It's $579,900. It's got 4 beds, 4 baths. It's a beautiful walkout ranch, a 3-car garage. It was built in 2004, but the lower level was finished after that, and I don't think ever even walked through. It's like a brand new lower level. And even the upstairs is beautiful too. It's a total of about 3,400 square feet. And that one is up on a cul-de-sac not too far from Century High School. Beautiful place. That one's not going to last long.
No, that's a beautiful neighborhood up there. Yeah.
And then I have one, a big 2-story. So if you're looking for a big house, this one's at 1689 Century Valley Road Northeast. It's got 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a 3-car garage. It's got almost 5,200 square feet of finished living space. It was built in 2004. It's got a very nice big landscaped lot, and that one is $679,900. So I've got a half a dozen new listings for you, and I'm ready to sell them.
2% interest, you might be able to get into one of those bigger ones. You might be surprised.
Very good point. Very good point.
And going back to the 4th Avenue Northwest home.
Yes.
That neighborhood is, it's kind of getting to be the happening area over there.
Yeah.
You have all those places that are within walking distance.
Yeah, that's fun.
Dining and entertainment places. It's kind of an eclectic little neighborhood that's kind of...
Yeah, hot and new place. I agree.
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
I was thinking about the one in Wabasha around the cornfield that if it was a retired farmer, you'd have to get the phone number of the farmer who is farming there. So you'd be sitting out on the deck and spot.
Oh, I'm sure in Wabasha they would know who it is. They all know each other. We're a small town over there.
I saw this on your corn
exactly.
The other day. You better get on here.
It's so funny. That's so funny.
Oh, it's a small world. So are we... I guess we've talked. You mentioned way back in the beginning of the show that the speaker at the event in the Twin Cities mentioned the buyer fatigue part of it, where folks were, especially early on when it was, you were saying 15 offers per property.
Yeah, I mean, I know that some buyers would write up to luckily none of mine, but some buyers were writing up to a half a dozen offers before they would get a house. That's going to wear on anybody.
Right. So, seeing as you have a half dozen homes to talk about and from all different price ranges.
Right.
Maybe those folks, is it time for them to maybe peek out behind the wall again and take another look? Those who might have been, pushed back to the sidelines?
It's a really good point, because I think we are going to see more and more inventory. Actually, they said the days on market has gone up. The national average now is 8 days on the market. So remember a couple of months ago we were at 20 minutes on the market? I mean, okay, maybe not literally, but that's what it felt like. Yeah, so we're at 8 days on the market, which seems like an eternity to people who saw their neighbor's house sell, day one a few months back, but it's all really good. It's a really solid market. But yes, I think with these inventory continuing to come on and these interest rates to continuously stay low, I think it's time. So if you took a breather, don't give up, get back in. You're going to be sorry if you don't.
And I think I'm starting to see some actual evidence of an uptick in the building part of it. Some of the people I know in the trade said things are heating up. They're all really busy. Yeah, they're all busy. And I'm seeing a lot of help wanted signs, and especially in all the trades. Yeah. So, there's work to be had. There are jobs out there. There's people building. There are people buying houses. Our economy is good. Life is great. It is really good. And the lumber trucks are coming down the highway.
But unfortunately, it's still hot out, Andy, and there's not a doggone thing I can do about that.
All right. So, one of those homes we mentioned was something you might be interested in, or whatever is going on. If you have a desire to sell now or in the future, or maybe you're thinking about buying, Robin, how do they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. I invite you to call me on my cell phone at 507-259-4926. I would be more than happy to help you with all and any of your real estate needs.
All right. I hope you get some time in the pool this weekend with the heat.
I actually have a wedding this afternoon. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been to one in a while.
All right. Well, have fun at the wedding, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Robin.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Robin Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly, instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/AutoNavigator.